the first thing you're going to want to do when you're making peach mango jam is peel all your peaches and mangoes. Now, at my house, we like to minimize our waste as small as we can get. So we save all the peels here and then we use them to make syrup. And you can do that with any fruit that's got a peel, apples, apricots, anything like that that has a peel you would normally throw away. You can actually use it to make a fruit syrup, and I'll do a separate video on how to make that. It's real easy. So for now, we're peeling them and then we're cutting them off and taking the pit out of the peaches and just cutting around the seed as much as we can on the mangoes. It doesn't really matter how small or big you cut the chunks of fruit because you're going to put them in your food processor anyway. And so don't worry about that. At this point, it's just a matter of getting that peel off. I have done jam with the peach peels on, and it's not the end of the world. You just preferably, especially with the mangoes, you're peeling the mangoes anyway, and so you may as well just do it. Once you have them all peeled, you put them in your food processor. Now, this is a personal preference. At this point, you're going to puree them as thick or as thin as you like. If you like a little bit of fruit chunks in your jam, that's fine. You can process them mash them until they have chunks. It's just total your preference. If you don't have a food processor like mine here, you can also use a potato masher. That will work just as well. And you can even just mash it while you're cooking them on the stovetop. So don't feel like you have to have a food processor. I have one, and this is just what I found is easiest. I also pulse mine a little bit, it kind of mixes them up a little bit to get them all chopped up. We leave a few chunks in there, but not too many, because you want to spread it on toast and things, so you don't want like a whole slice of a peach necessarily. So this is the important part. Once you puree them, you want to measure your fruit. This is going to be vital because with the recipe, it doesn't matter the ratio of your peaches and mangoes. Honestly, that's just a personal preference. I typically do like 1/3 mangoes, 2/3 peaches, but it really doesn't matter. If you like a lot of the mango flavor, do half and half or whatever. But so the portions of the peaches versus the mangoes doesn't matter. But what does matter is the amount of fruit that you are putting in the jam. That will make a difference on how much pectin and how much sugar you use. And that'll determine on how thick the jam sets up. I love that my pan has these measurements on here. So if you forget to measure your fruit as you put it in the pan and your pan has these, you can go by that. So you can tell that says how many quarts and liters and all that. So now, based on the amount of fruit I'm using, I'm going to double, triple, whatever the recipe. I think in this case I was tripling the recipe in order to, make enough jam and have the right proportions. So you get your fruit in your pan, and then you add your pectin and your lemon juice. And for peaches and mangoes, the lemon juice really helps them keep from going brown. So you definitely want to add that lemon juice. You can use fruit fresh or something like that. I just prefer lemon juice. Once it gets to a boil, you're going to add your sugar. And if you've never made jam before, be prepared because jam has a lot of sugar in it. A lot. Even the low or no sugar recipes still have a decent amount of sugar in them. If you're going to do one of those, you just have to use a low or no sugar pectin as well. Because the pectin and the sugar are the two things that help the jam thicken up as it cools. And so if it's really runny, that just means your proportions were off. You didn't process it the way you should have or whatever that way. Just heads up when you're making your jam. So now that we had it to a boil with the pectin and lemon juice, we're just adding our sugar, and you want to make sure that, again, this is where it's going to be key, making sure you have the right amounts of sugar, pectin, and fruit, because that'll determine if it thickens or not. Get your sugar, and you want a good spoon. Also, I want to point out, notice how much room there is in the pan. This is only about half full, and you want lots of space in your pan because it is going to double in size as it boils. So you might be thinking, oh, I don't need that big of a pan. And then if you do, it'll boil over. So yes, you want a big pan. So make sure sugar in really good. You'll want to stir this every few minutes just so it doesn't burn on the bottom of the pan. And look at that. After a few minutes, see how high this is. That's how high it boils up. It almost doubled in size. And at this point, you just want to get it. This is called a rolling boil, that even as I'm stirring it, it's still boiling. You want to do it as a rolling boil for about 2 minutes. And that what that's going to do is just get your sugar cooked to the right temperature and everything like that. Once you've had that at a full rolling boil for 2 minutes, then you can remove it from the heat, turn off the burner, remove it from the heat, and start filling your jars. And this is where you're going to want to set up a kind of assembly line. Now, if you're doing it yourself, you just kind of do it in stages. Luckily, I've got 2 little helpers here, and it's so great. It's a good skill for them to learn this stuff as they're young. So what we do, our little assembly line, I fill the jars, and then one of my daughters, she's got a wet paper towel there, and she just wipes the rim, the top of the jar. And then my next daughter puts the lid and the ring on. Now, the reason it's so important to wipe the lid of the jar, the top of the jar, is because if sugars or fruit or anything is on the rim of the jar, it won't seal. It could prevent it from sealing, or it could just make it not seal as well or for as long. So don't skip that step. And especially something like jam that has sugars in it, those sugars, even if it's liquid, you may not think it's a big deal, but that sugar can prevent the seal. So we get our little system here and fill the jars, and there we go. Once the jars are full, we're going to put them in our water bath canner. Once the water bath canner is at a full boil like this, you set your timer. The timer starts once it's a full boil. You boil them at my altitude, it's for 20 minutes, and I'm at 5,500 feet, so it depends on your altitude will be the time, and you can Google charts and things like that will tell you, depending on your altitude, how long. Usually it's like a standard 10 minutes, and then you add so many minutes per 1,000 feet, stuff like that. I think it's 5 minutes because it's probably 10 minutes standard, and then 5 minutes for every 1,000 feet, which is why I always do 20 minutes. 20 minutes is just a safe time for me for where I'm at. And you can't really over process them like this, so it's always better to err on the side of caution. Use your jar grabber. These jar grabbers are fabulous because that water is very, very hot. All you do after the timer, pull your jars out, put them on, remember they're going to be very hot, so if you don't have a wood cutting board or a wood countertop like I do, have something that can withstand quite a lot of heat that the jars can sit on for a while and cool. It'll take them hours to cool down. And then just put your next batch of jars right into the water bath canner. Now for these, I happen to be doing some half-pint jars, and since they're so much smaller, I was able to squeeze a couple. Normally you can fit 6-pint or quart jars in your canner. I was able to squeeze a couple of these half-pint just because they're so small. The biggest thing is you want to make sure that the water is at least an inch above the highest jar. So if you're doing quarts and pints together, as long as it's an inch above the quart jar, the tallest jar, then you're fine. And then just start the process all over, and there you go, your peach mango jam. It is delicious. The recipe is in the video description below.